Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live. I got Oliver Kenyon from Conversion Wise. This dude right here, I was talking to this cat before, not Oliver Kenyon, a different cat who's got a crazy medical device business. And I was like, listen, I've got to introduce you to Oliver Kenyon from Conversion Wise because what you need is what he offers, which is how to put together a landing page, a sales process, a funnel that is actually going to convert because you have a wonderful product. But the problem is the best product doesn't win. The best promise wins. Whoever can make the best promise is going to win in the marketplace. And the product has to live up to that promise. And Oliver and his team at ConversionWise are the best at building out and split testing offer pages, sales funnels, and optimizing sales processes so that when you send traffic, when you go out there and spend your hard earned money to drive visibility, you go out and do all this work, you get influencers, you get ambassadors, you make videos, you run ads, and then you send them to a sales process, a landing page, a series of landing pages, an opt in page, a product page to a shopping cart, and it is not optimized. You just wasted all your energy because once someone gets there, they have to be compelled to engage with the content that is on the page and to ultimately be persuaded by the content to click that add to cart button and pull out their credit card and purchase or tap and purchase if they're using an expedited payment gateway, which I highly recommend. And, you know, I saw Oliver on Twitter and his team because I know his team's he's got a, it's never one guy, right? He's the face, he's the beautiful. Look at him, he's beautiful. He's got the purple backdrop, he's got the nice plant back there. I'm not
Yes,
sure
you're
if it's
making
real
me
or not, but it's a
blush.
beautiful plant. Yeah, he's got the nice white teeth and everything. But he's got a whole team of experts, a team of people who do this day in and day out. They're optimizing my brands. They've built some wonderful landing pages for me, and really grateful, Ollie, that you're here to chat with Zipify group. And by the way, many more people than are they've got maybe 100 or something here live, but um, when these replays go out, they're seen by
Mm.
thousands of people. So for all of you watching, thank you for taking the time to consume this content, and it will help you whether or not you decide to engage with Ollie's service offerings at the end. What you will learn, you can apply to your business. So I'm going to kind of kick back, but I'll be here, and maybe I'll interrupt you and ask a question here or there, and I'm going
Please
to let
do.
you take it away.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the intro. As always, it's much appreciated. I'm not sure about the white teeth. I think I need to get them whitened a bit, but I really appreciate it. As I really appreciate all of your time. I know you're here from different parts of the world, different time zones, etc. So I'm gonna not take up too much of your time and promise you one thing in return for your time, which is actionable insights, things that you can actually implement in your business straight after this workshop. And we're just going to jump straight into the value. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to ask a couple of things from you as we go through this. And my first ask is, can you see my screen? So I'm just going to ask you to give me a yes in the chat. I'm going to try and make this as interactive as possible as well. I hate it if you're just staring at a screen for a long time, right? And as I said, I've got some real actionable stuff that I'm so excited and I'm really buzzing to share with you. So thank you, Ezra, for the platform. As always, Ezra is an amazing guy, fantastic mentor to me, not that he knows it. And I appreciate every platform he gives me. So today
Just
we
saying,
are
look at those teeth side by side. I'm saying yours are wider.
I actually think they look quite yellow in that one. That's not taking a mick out of you either. So here we go. We are unlocking 3.8 million in extra sales, the secret tool that we use to capture that additional revenue. And yes, of course, Ezra introed me as the guy who does everything conversion rates, landing pages, CRO. However, this secret tool is a subset of CRO. It's not CRO itself. It's nothing we've kind of gone into detail before in a workshop. So I'm really excited to share it with you. But first and foremost, let's see how white my teeth are on this picture. A little bit cheesy, but for those of you who don't know who I am, everyone knows who Ezra is, internet legend, incredible guy. But for those of you who don't know who I am a qualified chef. So I started in this industry as a qualified chef. I turned to a digital entrepreneur at the round about the age of kind of like 17, 18, but I was still working as a chef until the age of 26. I then built the largest affiliate community online. So I come from an affiliate background. I actually think some of the best marketers come from that affiliate background. I think it's the school of hard knocks. I think it's really hard to make it as an affiliate. So I think you learn some incredible skills. And I actually built a community that went on to be sold to Neil Patel back in 2017. I started my ecom journey personally back in 2012. That's when I first was kind of introduced to ecom. And I built ecom frameworks. I'm lucky enough. I say me, as Ezra said in my intro, it's not me, it's my team. I just kind of talk. I take the credit for the hard work that my team has done and my co-founder Andy has done for the last 12 years. But we've now built frameworks that are used by millions of stores, millions of brands, and millions of people over the world, which is something I am incredibly proud of. So what are you going to learn today, most importantly? Let's jump straight into this. So you're going to learn the hidden strategy behind Ezra's $3.8 million revenue boost. Again, just to mention, this is a subset of CRO and it's additional revenue. This is not spending more money to get more money. This is making more money out of the same visitors. You're going to uncover the hidden growth opportunities in your ecom store. So as I said, I want to give you real actionable insights. And the reason why you're going to get these is because I'm going to give you a real life case study. So Ezra has been good enough time and time again to give me permission, and I don't take that lightly. I appreciate that so much, to share with you the case studies that I'm going to share with you today from his brands, his actual brands, the work we've done for him. And we're going to see how we can leverage this strategy for your brand, most importantly. So live today, guys, the 3.8 million case study. Give me a one in the comments. Smash those ones if you're excited. Smash if you want to get into this. Hopefully all of you are excited as I am to share this with you. I think we're in a very fortunate opportunity when we've got Ezra on this call who's given us permission to do this. So, okay, I see a load of ones. Smashing, smashing, smashing. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, hopefully this is you right now at home doing this. And let's get into it. So as Ezra mentioned, me and Ezra have connected on Twitter. We kind of were in a similar space back in the affiliate days. Years ago, we've come across each other several times in that industry, but I've never actually met Ezra. But lucky enough, Ezra was over in the UK last year, and my co-founder here, Andy, met Ezra. Carl met Ezra, who's the head of our optimized solution, and we became very, very close with him. And we got to understand him, his businesses, his amazing things that he'd done. And luckily, we got the opportunity to work with him. From that opportunity, I was going to play this video, but I don't think it plays the sound, so I'm just going to annotate this for you. Ezra said this as a quote, and it's probably, we've had over 500 to 600 five-star reviews across Trustpilot, Google, etc. And as an agency, that's very hard to do. But I have to say this single-handedly is probably my most proud testimonial I've ever got. And it's from Ezra. And he said, I've finally found an agency I believe I'll be with the rest of my career because they're that good. They're called Conversion Wise by Oliver Kenyon. It's not me, it's my people. And these guys have made my brand a couple $100 grand in the first 4 months of working with them. And that was something I was incredibly proud of.
By the way, I was gotten off a treadmill, so that's why I look all gnarly in that
Yeah, go
picture.
back
Just
to
why is
this.
this guy a sweaty mess?
Yeah, without playing the video, you can't see this, but Ezra was actually, I think you were at a jiu-jitsu camp, is that right?
That
Or a
was, yeah.
competition. Yeah,
Somewhere.
amazing.
Yeah, I was in Las Vegas.
Amazing. But before the tool, let's go into CRO because as I said, this is a subset of CRO. This is a tool that we use to facilitate CRO. Without this tool, CRO and what we do and get results is not possible. So I'm excited to share the tool. But for those of you who don't know what CRO is conversion rate optimization, a very brief definition of CRO. It's commonly known as a systematic approach where you can make various adjustments and improvements on your website with the goal of increasing the numbers of visitors who complete a specific action. Now, 9 times out of 10, for most of you watching, that will be to purchase, that will be turning a click into a customer, and that is CRO in a nutshell. But to visualize this, we came up with this diagram, and I think this is really, really important to look at. So here you have your ad spend. You are throwing money at Meta, you're throwing money at Instagram, you're throwing money at PPC, whatever it may be, Google, it doesn't matter. You're spending to acquire a customer, you're sending them to your website. This is obviously our bucket in this scenario. And without CRO, you are basically leaking money. You're not plugging the holes. You're not propping up what turns someone from a click on that ad into a customer. But with CRO, you are very much gaining revenue. You're turning more of that money into customers, therefore profits. And that's the important thing to kind of visualize as we go through this workshop. Why am I telling you this? Well, hopefully this is giving me the credit enough to have the audience that I have right now. I've been in CRO and landing page design development for years and years, 12 plus years, since 2012. We have a team of 70 plus CRO experts who do this day in, day out. I eat, sleep, live, breathe this. Hopefully you can tell from my passion already that even after 12 years, I'm so excited to talk to you about this. We've worked with over 3,500 plus brands over those 12 years. We've designed more landing pages than any agency on this planet. And I'm going to keep saying this until someone proves me wrong. Over 7,500 plus pages. We've ran thousands of split tests and we have hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. And one thing's always been a consistent, and that's we back our numbers. We've made an additional $100 million for our customers already this year alone. We typically see an uplift of 25% revenue per session with a top rated CRO agency on Trustpilot. And we've been doing this for a long time. And you're probably doing this right now. You're probably going, yeah, let's get to the good stuff. I totally agree with you. I've done enough of these workshops. I've done enough of these webinars to know that all people want is actionable insights. And that's what I'm here to give you. So what is this secret tool? Have we got any guesses? Can anyone guess what this secret tool is? Hit me up in the chat. Let's see what people come up with. I'm intrigued to see if anyone can get this. Let's have a look what people are going to say. Can anyone guess what the secret tool is that's... Go on, Ezra. Cool. You are pretty. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sales promises, Google Analytics, A/B testing. Okay. So we have your team, 100% as you're correct. Heatmap.com, of course. Dylan Ander, shout out to Dylan. Okay, we have one person saying it, so congratulations. So this secret tool is a conversion rate audit. So for the first time, I don't think anyone's ever done this. I am going to unlock an audit for you. I'm going to show you the audit we actually did for Ezra's Boom. I'm going to show you the winning tests that we got from that audit. I'm going to show you before and after designs. I'm going to show you the incremental increases in revenue we got for Ezra and his brands because of those tests. But it all starts with an audit. So this is what the power of an audit enables you to do. Okay, it unlocks hidden insights about your customers. So an audit tells you exactly what your customers want and why they want it. It also tells you what they don't want and why they don't want it. It enables you to turn more clicks into customers. So you'll be able to pinpoint exactly where visitors are dropping off on the buying journey and why they're doing it. Okay, and we'll look at both sides of the data shortly, and I'll tell you how to grab at that data. It allows you to optimize every single aspect of your website for success. So whereas people think they become fixated with a product page or with a sales page, or our checkout page isn't converting, it allows you to look across the funnel from your attribution, from first post-click to sale, and it allows you to pinpoint where those bottlenecks are. It allows you to identify and prioritize the biggest opportunities. And I'm going to show you exactly how this works, by the way. I'm going to show you how to actually rank those priorities and those opportunities for growth. It also tells you how to boost customer satisfaction and retention. So not only does it generate you more profit per visitor, but it also keeps people coming back because they have a better experience. And it also gives them customer satisfaction. You can also gain a clear competitive advantage on your client, on your competition. And in my mind, this statement is 100% factual. Now, of course, I am a conversion rate optimization expert. I've been doing this for 12 years, and I'm going to be pro CRO. But I don't think anyone can tell me one marketing tool that adds more profit per user than doing CRO. And it starts with an audit. So I believe that as a non-negotiable for every ecom brand in 2024 and beyond, that every ecom brand needs to perform an audit. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. So I want everyone to be honest with me. I'm going to ask you a question at the end of this little slide. If you are optimizing the wrong way, I want you to be 100% honest. We practice complete ownership in our company. Hold your hand up and tell me. So this is the wrong way. You can see I'm in pain, I'm hurting, okay? The wrong way to do CRO is the following. If you do any of the following, let me know. Do you blindly implement? So do you look at your store and think, hey, I think that's going to convert better. I'll just change it without any hard data to back it up. Do you copy your competitors? We see this so many times in our clients where they think just because their competitors running X sale or doing a bundle page or has a hero image of this or that, hey, it's going to work for me. I've got to do it straight away. Do you think there's one size fits all solutions? Do you think that you can just copy a framework and it's going to convert for you? Are you skipping user research? So have you even done any research on your customers? Don't worry, I'll tell you how to do it. Are you relying solely on your gut instinct? Again, are you looking at your store and thinking, if I change this, I know it's going to convert better. And then often you're disappointed when you do so. Are you focusing only on design? A huge one that people get wrong all the time. You know, it's all aesthetics. It's all in design. If I just make a site that looks beautiful, hey, it's going to convert more people. Are you chasing trends, constantly changing things? Okay, if that's you, be honest. Hit me up in that chat. If that's you, just say yes. Yes to all. Tina, I really appreciate your honesty. Susie, yes. Heather, yes. Jen, yes. Guys, first and foremost, I really appreciate your honesty. So that's cool. I follow it, of course. Yeah, used to be me. I love it. Thank you so much for being honest. Now I want to show you the right way. Okay, so this is the right way. And again, I'm going to show you how to do all of this within this workshop. And I'm going to show you Ezra's exact case studies. Okay, this is the right way. Look how happy I am with my yellow teeth. Way, brilliant. Okay, here we go. Data-driven decision making. So the opposite of not relying on that data, data-driven decision making. I'll show you how to get the data. Conductive qualitative and quantitative research. Most of you would have heard of these, but I'm going to go into detail of exactly what these are. Analyzing customer behavior and feedback. So powerful. Show you exactly what it is. Comprehensive user research and surveys. If you're not serving your audience, you are literally leaving so much money on the table. I'll show you how to. Prioritizing user experience and conversion paths. So only focusing on those that attribute from your paid media. A/B testing and iterative optimization. A/B testing is essential. And identifying friction points through heat maps and analytics. So this is the right way. And all of this starts with a CRO audit, including the structured and ongoing testing process and using insights to generate actionable test ideas. Those insights, everything comes from an audit. Okay, so by now, hopefully the ones of you who said you were doing it the wrong way, I've just shown the right way, are doing this. They're like, okay, well, how in the world do we do this? Let's get into it. Let me share this with you. So how do we gather important data for an audit? It's basically our tool that it's the tool that builds a roadmap to success through CRO. How do we gather that important data? So gathering quantitative and qualitative data. Let's have a look at these two things, both equally as important, by the way. Most people typically follow a focus on qualitative and not quantitative, okay? So quantitative data provides hard numbers and metrics that show what is happening on your website. So they show exactly what is going on. So these are tools like Google Analytics, so tracking tools. These are heat maps, so scrolls, clicks, etc., sessions recordings to give you insights into visitors' behavior at scale. So let's have a look at some examples. Things like page views, bounce rates, conversion rates, cart abandon rates. By the way, never become fixated over your conversion rate. Always focus on, you probably hear me say it a lot, revenue per visitor, how much money you're making per click as opposed to what your conversion rate is. Can anyone tell me how we instantly increase our conversion rate? What's the easiest way to increase our conversion rate? In the chat, please. Let's go. Who's got the answer? John, you get the prize quickest. Love it. So yeah, you just drop the price. Okay. So the easiest way to increase your conversion rate is to drop your price. So your conversion rate is not a good metric to follow. Revenue per session. It's a blend of conversion rate and average order value. Quantitative data. Heat map data showing where users click, scroll, drop off. Again, shout out to Dylan Ander. Heatmap.com will also actually show you where things are clicked that generate you revenue. Session durations, so time spent on each page and number of interactions. Okay, now we switch to quantitative data, equally as important and probably the one that most of you will be focused on because you don't have to have that hard analytical data backed up. This is goes beyond the number to explain why users. So you have the what, and now you have the why. Why users behave the way they do. It involves gathering direct feedback from users' surveys, post-purchase feedback, and usability testing. So things like UX, UI, usability of your store, how people go through your funnel, how they go through your cart pages, etc. So some examples of quantitative data: customer surveys asking why they didn't complete the purchase, post-purchase feedback on checkout experience, user testing insights to reveal pain points and navigation. By a show of hands, and when I say hands, guys, I want in the chat, who right now is not doing post-purchase surveys or any types of surveys on their site? So who is not surveying their customers? Ones in the chat, please. Okay, the ones are flying in, ones are flying in. Cool. I get excited, and this might sound a bit weird, but I get excited by people doing things wrong. The reason that is because you're going to learn and take so much from this workshop. So for all of you saying one, for all of you admitting you got CRO wrong, thank you, because you're going to learn a lot. Okay, if you are not post-purchase surveying your customers, you are leaving a huge amount of data on the table. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail on exactly how you do that, but check out No Commerce, KNO Commerce. It's a free Shopify, it's a paid Shopify plugin, but it costs, I think it starts at like $99 per month, worth every penny. You ask your customers two simple questions on the confirmation page. One, why did you purchase today? Two, why did you almost not purchase today? That second question is going to give you so much arsenal and so much data that you can use to handle objections, friction points on the front end, that it's going to be worth its weight in gold. I'm going to put that in the chat, KNO Commerce. Okay, shout out to the guys at No Commerce. Right. When you have the quantitative and qualitative data, this is why it's so powerful. So when you merge hard facts of quantitative data with customer insights and customer feedback of qualitative data, you get a complete picture of your audience. So you get both the what's happening, but also the why it's happening. And that's why an audit is so important. This combined approach helps you make well-informed decisions, as opposed to when I showed that slide of all the things that where you got it wrong. And this is why it's so important. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple more methods. Promise you guys, we're going to get into Ezra's case study. We're going to get into actually looking at Ezra's audit. The guy's been so generous and let us share this all for you on this workshop. So we're going to go through that. Guys, just to mention, I am following the chat, but if you have any questions, I'm here for as long as you need me afterwards. I'm all about giving back. So please use the Q&A chat. We'll go through any questions at the end. I'll go through that at the end. I don't want to kind of interrupt the flow. There's an old saying in the UK that you can talk for England, and that's definitely me. I can talk. I get so passionate about this stuff. After 12 years, I still love this stuff. I'm just obsessed. So let's have a look at a couple of methods of quantitative and qualitative research. So heuristic walkthrough. This is where you literally, or whoever would be doing your audit, or if you're doing an audit, you would actually walk through your own site. So how many, again, just a quick show of hands. I like to make this interactive. Quick one in the chat. How many of you have actually purchased your product from your own store in the last 2 months? Anyone? Anyone purchased their own product on their store in the last couple of months? No. Yes, one. Okay, so I'm seeing a few of you say yes. That's good. So I would 100% recommend doing this and refunding yourself straight away after. You're not going to ship it to your own self. But I 100% recommend doing this once a month at least. Okay, this gives you a real view of the user experience. If there's any bugs, if there's any bottlenecks, if anything's uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is, like, on mobile is the button. Do you have to scroll to see the add to cart button? When you get to the checkout, do you then have to scroll down to find it? If you add more than 3 SKUs into your cart, does it add an awkward flicker between the school? Do a walkthrough time and time again of different scenarios of your own store, or pay someone to do it. So review mining is very powerful. For those of you with lots of reviews, best thing you can do these days is export your reviews. All the plugins allow you to do this. Post them into something like ChatGPT. AI is going to definitely help us here. And ask ChatGPT or prompt ChatGPT to find different commonalities within your reviews. So ask it to look at things like tonality, buzzwords, tone of voice, things that are mentioned multiple times. Use that information to then make informed decisions when you're doing tests on your site to increase your conversion rate. And again, I'll go into how you do it. Competitive analysis is important. So it is important to go through other sites and look at their strengths and weaknesses. What you don't want to do is just go on gut instinct that, hey, that's got to work for me because it's worked for them. Email surveys, as I've mentioned. So for those of you who said you don't do post-purchase surveys, don't worry. You haven't missed out on the opportunity to survey your customers. All you need to do tomorrow, set up an email that goes out to your customers with a survey attached and say, thank you so much for purchasing in the past. We just want to make the experience better for future visitors. So if you wouldn't mind taking 2 minutes to answer a couple of questions, we'll enter you into a draw to win a $100 Amazon gift card. $100 is all you have to give away. Don't do discounts. Don't do free products. They don't work. Everyone loves Amazon. There we go. Okay, moving on. other types of qualitative and quantitative methods, exit intent surveys. Okay, so not a lot of people use these, and we do this on most of our customers. The reason we use exit intents, and most people get this wrong, right? I've been on so many workshops, calls, in-person meetups where yeah, sorry guys, can you still hear me? Just put a 1 in the chat. Just need to make sure because it said that my microphone was going off. Can you still hear me? Perfect, thanks guys. I've done so many talks and stuff, been at conferences, etc., where people come up to me and they say, oh, you know, our exit intent surveys aren't working. They're not bringing people back to the site to purchase. That is not why you have an exit intent survey. The reason you have an exit intent survey is to find out why people are leaving, not to bring them back. You have to understand that we're all human, and typically your demographic will have a lot of things in common. So most of your people who buy from your store will have the same doubts, objections, friction points, questions, same human psychology about the reason for leaving your store. So the reason you do exit intent surveys is to actually ask them, well, why are you leaving? Not to get them back. It's like, why are you leaving? You get that answer. You can then handle that on the site, so that in the future, when your demographic comes back, you can capture more buyers. So that's the way you need to look at exit intent. Heat map, of course, so you should definitely be using heat map. Clarity is a great free heat map. You can use heatmap.com if you want to track revenue, but you should be looking at scroll maps. You should be looking at clicks and revenue per session via heat maps. Post-purchase surveys, we mentioned session recordings. So if any client works with us, we actually pay for people to go onto the site. We record their sessions, or we will put session recording software on people's sites and record their sessions. We'll do usability testing where we pay, and session recording is on visitors. And we'll actually just see where people are scrolling. What's that journey? Where are they dropping off? Why are they dropping off? Okay. And user testing is that one I've just mentioned. And then obviously there is site speed testing. So there's a lot more that goes into our audits. You can see here on the right-hand side, a bit of a scroll of one of our audits. Typically these are, and I don't want this to be daunting. And by the way, this isn't like you have to come to us to use do an audit. It's not at all. I want to give you enough tools to go and do some things yourself. But if you come to us and you want to do CRO with us, we will typically take probably 3 to 4 weeks to do this audit. It's very intense work because we are looking at the qualitative and quantitative across your whole store. And we will come up with a normally 120 page audit. And it sounds a lot, but that audit, as I said, is the first piece of any profitable and effective CRO program. It all starts with the audit. Everyone always talks about CRO. Okay, everyone talks about Ezra's results, the results that we've got for Ezra, but it all comes back to that audit. And I'll show you everything in a sec. So what's the audit strategy? So how does an audit lead to that growth? So it allows us to identify most critical areas for improvement. So it really gives us a way of finding critical areas and the most important places to focus on, because that's the problem we all have, right? We're all trying to spin so many plates. We're doing paid, we're doing email, we're doing SMS, retention, subscription, cold versus warm versus CRO. There's so many spinning plates, but an audit allows you to pinpoint within CRO what you should be focusing on first and what will move the needle the biggest. And I'll show you how. You can create data-driven hypothesis. So a hypothesis, honestly, is a word for test or idea, okay? It's a fancy word for a test idea. But a hypothesis is far better backed when it is data backed. And that's why you do an audit. It allows you to prioritize those optimization efforts. So rank the test or hypothesis from most effective to least effective, so we know what to focus on first. It tests and validate. And by the way, we'll talk about A/B testing best practices as well. I've got you covered everything in this workshop. Test and validate the solutions. It will give you the highest impact changes, really importantly, again, so like not to focus on things that are not going to have much impact. You know, when you're spinning those 1,000 plates as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an e-com owner, I've been there, I've done it, I've sat in the trenches myself. But it also gives you that sustained growth. So it allows you to build a roadmap on a future plan for whatever your North Star goals are. So let's have a look at the CRO strategy itself. Just take a sip of my water. Guys, is this making sense? Are you enjoying it? Let me know. Smash that 1 in the comment, please. I really appreciate it. Yes, one. Yes. Amazing. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the feedback. Okay, so let's have a look at the CRO strategy itself. Cool. So there are 3 components around formulating a hypothesis. So remember, hypothesis is an idea or something we want to test on our site. And those three components are the following. One is change. So what's the change? What's the plan that you want to alter? What's the one thing you want to change? Two is the expected outcome. So of that change, what outcome do I perceive happening? And three is the rationale. So three is the why you believe that outcome would happen. So you have to have a belief behind it as opposed to a gut feeling. There has to be a reason. And those 3 points help us always internally here at conversion wise or across doing any CRO. If you want to do it yourself, not a problem. These three things are the things you need to always come up with. Okay, you need to identify high impact tests. So with multiple tests at hand, we can all look at our site and come up with loads of different test ideas. Not all of them will deliver equal results. So use collected data and insights from surveys to identify which test has the highest priority, bringing the biggest impact. And they always should be ROI focused. It sounds silly, but you always need to attribute a return or an investment on a test. Okay, we're not just running a test to increase the email subscribers on our email list if email doesn't generate us any revenue. It should always be a revenue ending goal. These are the frameworks that you can use to rank your tests, and I'll go into the one we use on the next slide in a bit more detail. So you have the ICE scoring model, you have the PXL framework, and you have the PIE framework. These are not our frameworks. We got these. We kind of took these from other people. We typically use the PXL framework, which is by cxl.com, a great learning tool for anything CRO. And the PXL framework is as follows. So down the left-hand side, you have the test hypothesis. So you have the ideas. So for example, changing copy, reversing order of your HP, increasing a font size, and we then rank those. So the audit allows us to come up with several, normally 20 to 30 test ideas, and we then rank them on the following. Is it ATF? That sounds a bit weird, but that stands for above the fold. Is the test above the fold? We then give it a rating out of, say, 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, whatever rating system you want to use. So if it's above the fold, it's a 10. If it's not, it's less and less. Is it noticeable within 5 seconds? So within the section you're going to, is it noticeable within 5 seconds? Are we going to see it really quickly? Again, you rank it. And the ease of implementation and execution. So is it easy for us to do? So if it's something like a copy change and it's above the fold and it's noticeable within 5 seconds, like a headline, bang, the result and the combined score is going to be quite high. So this allows us to rank our tests because, as I mentioned, when we start working with clients, we want to go with the highest impact tests that are easiest to implement so we get people quick wins. And you'll see how we did that with Ez and his brands, adding an additional 400K in the first 4 months. I'll show you those tests. So let's just cover, before we get into the case study, exactly what A/B testing is and best practices for that. So you can go and do this yourself if you want. So the foundations and principles behind a good A/B test are as followed. You have the control. Now, often we refer to a control. A control is basically what you have on your website right now. So if you go to your root domain, if you go to yourdomain.com and you look at your homepage, that is your control. We then have a variant. So the variant is the second version. You can test multiple versions, by the way. It's not just always A/B, but the second variant that we want to test against the control. So typically, if that's an A/B test, the control is 50% of your audience. The variant is 50% of your audience. You send 50% of control, 50% of variant. The software that we use convert.com. We are their biggest European CRO agency and fastest ever premium partner. That software would tell us which one's going to make us more money, which one will convert better, which one will generate us a higher revenue per visitor. We always, really importantly, and we've taken over a number of clients recently who have worked with not so good CRO agencies, you have to make sure that it has statistical significance. And what I mean by this is your CRO software, your A/B testing software, will give you what's called a power rating. It will tell you out of 100 or powered how stat sig that test is and how confident you can be that it's going to make you more money or convert better. But what we find in the industry, unfortunately, is a lot of CRO agencies will cut tests short because they see that it's good enough, but they don't let that test run. So we'll talk about duration in a second. You have to have a sample size. So it's always important to have an adequate sample size. You should test with 50 to 100K visitors, depending, again, there's a few factors that come into it based on your AOV, based on your product, your current conversion rate, your visitors, etc. If you're doing paid media to one page or across the whole funnel, there's a lot of things that come into it, but you have to have a good sample size to prove the test as a winner. The duration should typically be between 2 and 4 weeks, minimum 2 weeks. The reason for that is you want to get the test, as it says here, exposed to different behaviors and external factors. So 2 Mondays, 2 Tuesdays, 2 weekends, 2 weeks is really, really important. Also, things like external factors have an effect on your test. We all know this. We're all e-commerce brand owners, we're all product owners, store owners, affiliates, whatever you are, drop shippers, it doesn't matter. We all know that something like a war in the Middle East or an external factor, if our competitors have a sale, whatever that may be, that can affect our stats, our performance on our store for that given day. So that's why we run it over 2 weeks. And it should be randomized, okay? So people should be randomly assigned to each variant. You shouldn't be pushing a certain demographic or certain type of audience to one page and to the other. Otherwise, it's not a fair test. Always create a clear hypothesis. So always follow those 3 rules and create a proper hypothesis. Avoid conflicting tests. Now, depends on the volume that you do. But if you are doing, under 100,000 sessions on your store in a month, you need to make sure you're avoiding conflicting tests. What I mean by this is you wouldn't have 2 tests running on your homepage above the fold. You might get away with, say, having a test on your homepage and a test on your cart page, but you always want to isolate your tests, because if you start running side-by-side tests on the same page, on the same section, etc., it's very hard to then gather which one has the actual uplift or which one's winning, which one's losing. The way you would do that if you have the volume is running what's called a multivariate test. Use something like VWO and do a multivariate test, which spins out all different versions of different tests in one section and tells you which combination converts the best. But I think for now, let's stick to the A/B testing. Always QA your tests. And this one sounds a bit silly, but it can be an oversight just to set a test live and you can see that a test is winning or losing, but it might be losing because you haven't QA'd it. There might be a bug, there might be a problem. Hence why I always suggest using an agency like ourselves to have that whole team there. But if you're doing this yourself, it's fine, but make sure they're QA'd. Prioritize revenue over conversion rate. As I said, focus on revenue per session. Okay, so who's ready? Who's ready to get into Ezra's tests and audit? Who's ready to see an audit? Who's ready to see some tests? Smash those ones and we'll do this, guys. I appreciate your patience. Wow, we've got loads of people on here. 111. I'm seeing a sea of ones. Okay, cool. Let's do it. The $3.8 million case study that everyone's been waiting for. Thank you for your patience. The reason I do what I do before this is because I would hate to be coming on here and just showing you all the shiny objects, the results, and just saying, hey, look at this. Okay, it's really important to show you the foundations, the why, the how, before then showing you the results, because I'm not here to just say, look, guys, look what we did. We're great. Use us. That's not what I'm about. I've been doing this for 12 years. Okay, let's go. Hopefully this is you right now. So a little bit about the brand. If you've been living under a rock, you will not know who Boom is, but if you haven't, you know Ez, you know his incredible brands, you know what this guy has done. So this case study centralizes around Boom. So I'm going to show you Boom's case studies. We work with several of Ezra's brands that added 3.8 million in additional revenue this year alone, but Boom has a large portion of that. So Ezra's given me permission to share this one. It's a pro-age makeup and skincare brand. So pro-age, so typically speaking, the older demographic, and that's really important to know as we go through these results. They sell millions of items globally each year, generate 8 figures in revenue up per year, and trust conversion-wise very, very luckily with their CRO. When we run tests for Ezra and Boom, these were the kind of results we were getting. This is a Slack, one of our private Slack channels, where we told him that we'd just hit another winning test, estimated to be worth $40,000 in additional revenue, nearly $500,000 per year. And this is Ezra saying, thanks. This is, again, another testimonial that I'm so proud of, that Ezra gave us a shout out on Twitter and said we're the best agency we work with maybe ever. Just incredible. Educated hypothesis. And I wanted to put this in here because of this educated hypothesis. It's so important to do that audit, and that's where we get these hypotheses for. Quick word of warning before we jump in. These tests will not work for your brand. Again, I am not going to be that fake guru. I'm not going to be that idiot, that person on here trying to sell you something, trying to shove you down a course and say, these are going to work for you. It's going to absolutely work for you. If you have not listened to anything I've said up until this point, fine, go implement these blind and think that they're going to work for you. I want to put this here to say to you, without doing that research, without doing the qualitative and quantitative research on your brand specifically, these may not work. Okay, that's just blindly implementing. So I just wanted to make that very clear. Let's go through this. Again, I'm going to make my screen a little smaller because I want to share the actual audit with you. Never seen before. Ezra's given me permission to do this. So let's go through this. So this is winning test. Sorry, I want to go back to that bigger screen because I feel like it's relevant. But here we go. Okay. Hopefully this works. Yeah. I'll kind of switch in and out. So I will first and foremost show you the go through the test, and then I'll show you the pages within the audit, how we came up with that test, because I think that's really important to show you the audit firsthand. Okay. So winning test number 1 is page 8 to 10 in the audit. We'll go have a look at that. And this is a mega menu test. So here in front of you, you'll see the convert screenshots. I'm going to show you the designs, by the way. You're going to see everything. And this is actually an ABC test. So a 3-way split. On Boom's mobile mega menu. For those of you who don't know what a mega menu, it's on mobile or desktop. When you click the menu, it drops down. And this time and time again seems to work. People don't optimize their mega menus. So this is a great test for everyone to try. Okay, with the additional bestseller carousel and reorganize the menu options to optimize the nav by aligning menu users with engagement metrics, thereby aiming to increase the revenue per session. The why, I'm going to skim over this. I'm going to give you top level, but basically heat map data, using that really important heat map data, suggested that while menu items were performing well in terms of revenue per session, their placement didn't reflect their importance. So by reordering the items and introducing a bestseller carousel, we anticipated that more intuitive navigation experience would reduce friction and draw attention to the popular items and influence the buyer's decision. Okay, so this is exactly what we did. So both variants introduced a bestseller carousel, and I'll show you the designs again in a second, at the top of the menu to immediately capture users' attention and provide them quick access to the top-selling icons. So this is something that I would definitely test anyone. Use heat map software to see which products or which categories are generating you the most revenue within your menus, and then adding a top-selling carousel to the top of your menus and reordering your menu items via revenue is going to work for you. Here's what we did, okay? So I'm going to get my confetti out. I love this confetti. Winning test number 1 was the mega menu. It resulted in an additional revenue of nearly $40,000 per month, over $500,000 per year in predicted forecasted revenue. The revenue per session increase within the mega menu was almost 32 cents. And this is what we did. This was the before. This is the after. So you're going to see this on all of the tests. You can see number 1, we added this bestsellers carousel into the mega menu with the best revenue generating products, number 1. Why did we do it? Because we saw from data that people were coming to their menu and weren't knowing where to go. Most people click your menu if they're new purchases. They don't know where to go, so they have a look at the menu to see where they can go. If you shove things in front of people's faces, more times than not, they'll click it. So what you do, you find your best-selling products and you put them in that menu. You then use icons and you sort your menu items via revenue per session, as we've done here. And we went one step further in the C version, which converted best, and that was to add an actual review into the product, into the menu itself. So again, social proof. So this was pages 8 to 10 in the audit. I'm not going to show you all the audit, but this is what an audit looks like when we get to you. This is a snippet of Ezra's audit. Typically, like I said, this is kind of more a much bigger document. It's 120 pages, but I took the test audit pages out and put it into a bit of a format for you. So as you can see, we used heat map software here to see where things were getting clicked, see where the menu was being clicked. We then noticed that these links weren't needed. So we have, so many of you will have things like blog, contact page, about page, FAQ page in your mega menu itself. And you don't need these things. Okay, these things aren't going to generate you money. Put them at the bottom, separate them, make them smaller font. Make sure your menu is almost like a shopping menu, okay? You want to make it really easy to click. So we noticed that these things weren't converting. And then from that data, we're able to see which links were generating the most revenue. And we then actioned on that revenue. I'm just going to see if I can zoom in here. How can I zoom in a bit, guys? Is that right? No, it's not going to be right. Okay. Nope. Don't know why I'm being so silly here. There we go. Okay, so you can see the heat map data enabled us to run this test. And that's the really important thing for me to show you on here, is like backing it up by the audit, which is the most important thing. Winning test number 2. Okay, so winning test number 2 was a landing page redesign. So Ezra's Boom uses landing pages, as most of you may do, from ad, then you go to a landing page, then you go to a product page. So we often call it like a pre-sale, an advertorial, a listicle, something that sits in the middle. Again, put your questions in the QA. I'll get to them after. And we basically, again, from our audit, came up with a lot of hypotheses around the data to make changes on this landing page. So a redesign of the landing page to improve readability. Don't forget, this is an older demographic, okay? So readability and visual appeal to enhance the engagement of the landing page. So more visitors to scroll through the content. Therefore, if you get more people to scroll on a pre-sale or a landing page, you'll actually getting them more hooked into buying your product. Okay, so why? The hypothesis was that aesthetically pleasing and easy to navigate landing page would captivate users' attention, leading to more extended interaction on the page and a higher likelihood of them clicking through. Remember, this is before the product page to the product page. The what? This is what we did. We streamlined the content for better readability. So we made things bigger, bolder, bigger fonts, bigger headlines. We used bullet points. We bolded key phrases. We made text very much scannable as opposed to big blocks of text. We improved the visual layout by making it more attractive. Of course, that always works. We ensured the call to actions are clear and compelling. We saw from heat map data that things weren't getting clicked where they should be. So we made those call to actions and offers more compelling. And we implemented design principles to guide visitors naturally through the landing page. I don't know why the results are not there. Okay, they're here. Page has got messed up. So here we go. The results of winning test number 2 were almost $20,000 in additional monthly revenue. I'm not going to go through every single stat. You can read it on your screen, but this shows the importance here. A clear, bold headline. Okay, so we took a small bit of text from the previous design. We made it into a big, bold headline. 5 makeup tips with older women. We associated the demographic of Ezra's pro-aging makeup with his demographic. We chose pictures that associated with that demographic instead of using younger females. We used a big, bold headline, was more scannable. You can see here now the text, very clear visuals, big, bold headlines, 1, 2, 3, very scannable to read those benefits of the product. We made the offer way more compelling with a big call to action, whereas before, it wasn't this easy to click through. Okay, I'm just going to show you this in the audit. So this was page 20, I think, in the audit. Let me go check. Yeah, here you go. So again, just from a heat map, you can see this is the old page. Okay, it wasn't a very clear. There was no clarity on that headline. White text on a busy background doesn't get read. Too many options. So see how we stripped out the navigation, because we could see from heat map data that people were getting confused by having too many options and clicking through to different things when it wasn't necessary. We used this as a funnel. We stripped out the social links. We changed the offer from 2 offers to 1 very simple offer. Okay, keep things simple. The second you give people multiple choices is the second they don't pick one. We then obviously streamlined everything, as you can see, made the text more scannable, and that resulted in these incredible results for Ez. So moving on to test number 3. So winning test number 3 was above the fold. So this is a multifaceted optimization above the fold on the product detail page, so the PDP page, to improve the effectiveness of converting visitors by incorporating social proof, addressing scarcity, and providing convenience with that aim to increase that revenue per session. The why? The PDP with social proof, such as review stars and ratings, along with a more prominently placed discount badge and sticky add to cart button, was based on tapping into cognitive biases that influence purchase behavior. So this includes desire, social proof and affirmation, fear of missing out with some scarcity, and the need for easy, efficient shopping experience. So this is what we did. We added a review summary above the fold. So a lot of you will have reviews, but they won't be above the fold. No worries, that's not a problem. So won't have review issues above, won't have reviews above the fold. We also repositioned the discount badge for higher visibility. So when we say discount badge, it was a savings that these guys, they were having a sale on. So we repositioned it, and I'll show you exactly what we did. We implemented a sticky add to cart feature to constant access to users. So again, remember, this is an older demographic. If they're on their tablets, their mobiles, giving them that ease to check out is so important. So we added that scroll. If you have a sticky add to cart, really importantly, don't have it scroll until at least 25% of the fold's gone. Okay, you don't want it conflicting with your add to cart above the fold. Have it scroll as soon as they get into that kind of 25% down. We added image thumbnails based on heat map analysis to fulfill curiosity. So I'll show you this, but basically, again, if you have a carousel, excuse me, an image carousel on your product pages, and you don't have visual thumbnails underneath, you just have radial dots, or maybe it's arrows either side of the image carousel, then you are leaving money on the table. Okay, people like to visualize. They need to see that there's more images. So always use thumbnails. It's the same when you have color swatches on product variants. Don't use color swatches. Actually showcase images of your product with the color change. People like to visualize what changes, okay? Variant B was found the most effective, where clicking add to cart led users to a slide cart as well. So here's the results. An additional almost $40,000 in monthly revenue, all because of the findings within the audit, okay? You can see here, we did the thumbnails just below the image carousel before they were using radial dots. The more people view your images, the more likely they are to buy your product. It also gives you an amazing bit of a real estate to pre-sell your product. You have to think of an image carousel. Excuse me, guys. You have to think of an image carousel as a mini landing page. Okay, it's another journey. It's another opportunity for you to take someone through a pre-scroll to sell your product. Use different types of images. Use things like annotated images. So have lines coming off your images that will annotate the benefit of your product. Always talk about benefits, of course. We introduced the social proof here. So notice how it was lower down the fold. We pulled it up the fold so it actually always appeared on any device above the fold, and we kind of elaborated on it. We also collapsed really importantly here, we also collapsed the money back guarantee. So a lot of you will use money back guarantees and you might have them like further down the fold, but on your tabulated view, just below your CTA, if you have a money back guarantee or a guarantee or satisfaction guarantee, actually showcase the text. Explain it, especially if you are selling to an older demographic like as was. Again, surveying Boom's customers told us that they purchased because they had a guarantee, but they almost didn't purchase because they couldn't find a guarantee. So we got conflicting responses. So it really, we were very aware from those survey responses that the guarantee was the most important thing. So what did we do? We put a statement collapsed by default below the CTA that just anchored the CTA and enabled people to feel more comfortable and removed that friction point and removed any objection of purchasing because they knew they could easily send it back. And because it was the older demographic, we explained exactly how they could send it back. And I think that's really, really important to mention. So who's enjoying this? Who's ready for me to smash out the next 2 winning tests? The final 2 winning tests, hit 1 in the chat if you're still with me, if you're following it, if you're enjoying it, getting some useful information. Again, I'll be here to answer any questions after. Wow, that's a lot of ones. That's amazing. Thanks, guys. For any of you who've ever sat on camera and done these sort of workshops, I think the feedback that you get from people is definitely the most important. It keeps you going. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Right, let's go. Winning test number 4. Okay, yeah, we're looking the audit on this one. 18 to 19. So this is cart optimization, okay? Something that we focus on a lot. I always say you'll get the biggest results for the pages closer to the money. So the closer you get to the money, the bigger the results will be. So let's have a look at this. So funny enough, this is something that everyone can do, okay? Now, I'm going to ask you all a question again. So by show of, let's go with a Y this time. Hit me with a Y for yes if you currently have a discount or coupon box on your store, on your cart, on your checkout. Hit me with a Y. Hit me with an N if you don't. No. Okay. Very clever. Okay, so way more yeses than nos. Okay, would you be interested or would you believe me if I told you that could potentially be losing you a lot of money, especially if you don't actively promote that you have a discount coupon? I'm going to show you why. So what we do is we want to streamline the checkout process to reduce potential confusion and highlight the brand's USPs with the objective of increasing monthly revenue. This is the why. So feedback from surveys and data from a previous test indicated that the message about adding a discount code at checkout might actually have people confused, particularly for customers without the code. The hypothesis was that by simplifying this step and focusing more on the brand's unique selling points would alleviate friction and more effectively guide customers through the process. So here's what we did. Within that cart interface itself, we removed the prompt or the message regarding the additional discount code at the checkout stage, and we gave greater prominence and visibility to unique selling points within the cart to reinforce the value. So people think that people perceive value comes from saving money. It doesn't. In a world where every single one of us and every single one of you are competing with Amazon every single day, whether you know it or not, every one of us on this call would go to Amazon within 2 seconds now, buy a product and not think twice about doing it. You wouldn't think twice about handing them £100,000 or £1,000 or £100. You wouldn't think twice if you're going to get your product, if it's guaranteed, if you can get a refund, how quickly you're going to get it. That's because you trust that brand because of their unique selling points. You trust them because they're so trusted. They offer next day delivery. They offer refunds without any questions. You just know you're going to get that product, right? They don't know that. Your consumers don't know that. Your cold audience doesn't know that. They don't trust you. So sometimes discounts can actually do two things. One, they can devalue your trust in your product. But two, what happens when you have a discount code on your checkout? Can anyone tell me why this would hurt you? Anyone tell me? I'll wait because it might be a while to type out. Yeah, there you go, guys. Perfect. So why this hurts you is because typically, if you have, and we all do it, if you have a discount code on your checkout, people go looking for it. So they go onto the internet, they search for your brand name, they search for discount code, they get a really bad experience because typically they come up with these really scammy kind of affiliate coupon sites that say they have a discount for your store, but never actually do. The coupon codes never work. They're clicking back and forth. By that time, their dinner's ready, or they've got to go into a meeting, or they've just become pissed off with the whole buyer experience, or they don't want it because they thought they could get a discount, or they hit up your customer support and say, what is a discount coupon? You've just lost that intent. And when you're competing with so much fast moving media and intent these days, that could lose you the sale. So we're going to have a quick look at the audit before we look at the results. 18 to 19 in our audit. So let's just have a look how we came up with this. So yeah, we could see here that there used to, as I said, used to be a discount code here. So we kind of visualized that we would remove it. We then looked into the analytics that the people who added to cart, who then actually checked out, the conversion rate was super low. And we hypothesized that that was due to two things: not having enough USPs within that whole experience. And secondly, the discount code was causing this problem that we've just kind of covered. So as I said, we removed that prompt. We then gave greater importance, and these were the results. Okay, just from two super simple things. Look at this. You wouldn't even see this as different, right? But you can see the discount code here before. You can see no USPs. We removed that discount code. We added USPs. So we do this via what's called our famous trust policy bar. It's a little bar that sits below the navigation. You use icons or imagery or artwork and text, and you just basically showcase 4 or 5 things that scroll on mobile or are flat on desktop that make you trusted and credible as a company. Do you offer money back guarantee? Do you offer satisfaction guarantee? Have you served hundreds of happy customers, thousands of happy customers? Are you manufactured within the US? Are you vegan friendly? Okay, whatever it is to your audience that counts, and you only get that from data and surveying your audience and doing a CRO audit, that's what you stick in here, okay? Hopefully that makes sense, guys. That's one that everyone can test. Winning test number 5, the last test, and then I've got something cool for you at the end of this, and I'll do as many questions as I can for you because you guys have been so fucking cool at sticking around with me, so hopefully I can give back to you. Collections and labels and pricing. So this is a collection page test, okay? Really, really important. So adding descriptive labels like bestsellers, new, most popular, trending. This is our hypothesis, what we wanted to do. This says homepage, it's actually collection page, along with clearly displayed pricing. Okay, so again, we move pricing. You'll see this in the before and after designs. And the whole goal was to guide visitors towards products that facilitate decision makings by providing descriptive cues and pricing information to increase the revenue per session. The why? For new visitors who may be unfamiliar with the brand. Again, think about this. When you go into a mega menu, if you're not used to buying from that store, you're just looking of where to go. It's the same on the collection page. If you have a multi-skewed store and you have a collection page and there's so many products on your store, okay, people can get confused. You give them overload in their brain. I don't know where to go, what to pick, okay? Make that simple decision for them. A couple of things you can do on collection page, aside from this. Again, sort your collection page via biggest revenue per session item. Easy win. Use labels indicating popularity. Novelty can serve as an effective navigational aid. You're just aiding people. You're drawing people's attention towards specific products to remove that friction. Transparent pricing removes a potential barrier of decision making. If you are a low ticket product, it makes sense to put your pricing on your collection page 9 times out of 10. Again, test all these things. You need to test them. You need to work with an A/B testing agency. I'm not saying that's us, anyone, or you need to know how to test, but test these things. But having pricing on that collection page saves an extra step. Instead of me having to click through to the product page, then go back to the collection page to check, I can save it. So what do we do? The product listings were enhanced with labels highlighting the status of the products, bestsellers, etc. And we put the prices on. So let's have a look at this. Here's your winning tests. It's 29, nearly $30,000 in additional monthly revenue, almost an uplift of $350,000 plus per year, and 2 very simple changes, okay? So we added these labels to the products, bestsellers, new, running out. I wouldn't add it to all. This is just to showcase you how you do it, but trending, etc. And then adding that pricing to that button. So not just view detail, especially on cosmetics or consumable products where people have a lot of repeat purchases. Actually adding that that price point and that quick add to cart on the product page, on the collection page, can really increase your AOV and user experience as well. So just incredible results, guys, really incredible. So just a snapshot of this. As I said, we work, as Ezra said at the beginning, we work across all of his brands. So this is Boom that added over 2 million additional revenue for them alone this year in 2024. But I also want to stipulate and highlight this. 13 losing tests. This was 5 winning tests in the first 6 months, but 13 losing tests. And that's really important for me to say because I care about what I do. If I was on here saying that every test worked, every test won, every test is a winner, I wouldn't be doing my industry justice, okay? More tests lose than win. But it's the winning tests, as you can see, that outweigh the losing tests times 100. Okay, so we have across all of Ezra's stores, Overtone, Boom, his other products, we have added over $3.8 million in additional revenue this year alone. Ezra was good enough to allow me to showcase these tests that added an extra 2 million to Boom. But this is just where CRO starts. So CRO is so much more than A/B testing. All of these things are part of CRO. So offer testing, idea testing, checkout optimization, upsell, cross-sell, ongoing research, qualitative, quantitative, review mining, tracking software, dedicated landing pages, and so on and so forth. All the things we do for Ezra. And this is CRO in a nutshell. But this is what happens when you do effective CRO. This is results that conversion-wise my agency has got for clients in the last 6 to 9 months. Increases in revenue year on year, 50%. Add to cart rates gone up by 50%, year-on-year revenue increase of 30%. We've added over $185,000 in additional monthly revenue to one of Ezra's brands. Another brand we work with have worked with over $345,000 in additional revenue. G Fuel, the biggest energy gaming drink in the US, we've added over $375,000 in additional monthly revenue, all from audits. All these things start with an audit. We couldn't do any of this if we didn't spend a couple of weeks, 3 to 4 weeks in the trenches, getting to know people's brands, their demographics, and doing an audits. One thing is consistent. If you do audits, you get results like this. And these are all our clients that we've got results through audits. And that's the most important thing to take away from this. Spend time doing that audit. What's the one thing that all these brands have in common? It all started with an audit. So what does this mean for your brand? Well, we're not here to kind of sell to you. We didn't want to make this selly. I really want to just give you actionable insights, and hopefully you've done that. I'm going to take time to answer your questions, but I want to offer all of you a free strategy call with my agency ConversionWise, who got all these results for Ezra, all these results for this. That, can include us potentially doing audits for you or running your CRO. Every agency, every brand is so different. Hence why I didn't want to come on with a specific offer. I just want to offer you our time to get to know your brand, get to know your goals, get to know your next moves for the rest of the year and beyond as we come into this busy period for ecom. We're here to support you. If you'd like to take advantage of that free strategy call, note down this link. I will put it in the chat as well for you. I'll just grab that now just so you've got it. But I want to, as I said, I want